Welcome to another edition of Talking Models. Today we're going to do a painting tutorial on Shadow Kreations' new release, the Shadow. I'm a huge fan of the Shadow. Many of you know that I had a motorcycle that I called the Shadow, the Dodge Challenger, which I called the Shadow, and of course Shadow Kreations, my company that produces model kits for today's collectors. So it was a no-brainer for me to finally bring a kit of the Shadow to the Shadow Kreations line. Now this kit was sculpted by Lace Lee and brought to life. Thank you, Lace. And now this probably is part of our lineup. We'll take a quick look at this and you can see that you have the nameplate, the Shadow nose. You've got them eyes and that face behind the mask. You've got the guns a-blazing. You've got the scarf that wraps around. Kind of turn them over here so you can get another look at them. We'll go to this side. You can take a look at that. And of course on the back you got who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of man. That's just a nice little touch. It's part of the tagline that was used in the Shadow. The Shadow knew. So it's a nice quarter scale. You can see it's just a beautiful piece. Lace did a great job. Thank you, buddy. And it's just, I'm very proud to finally have a Shadow figure in the lineup for Shadow Kreations. So today we're going to talk about what I did to bring this kit to life. So are you ready? Are you ready? He says the Shadow knows. So let's go. I started by priming the complete kit in automotive grade primer. And I started with the base on this. Again, that way I could kind of tie it in to see what was going to come out of my mind, because I really didn't know. It was like with the base, do I do it in metallic? Do I do it in silver? I decided to do a wooden look to the base, and that would just help draw the attention to the figure itself and just kind of tie everything together. So the base was base coated using apple barrel black, and the body and the hat was base coated using Freak Flex body bag black. So for the first thing that I did, I base coated the base using Delta Serene Coat Burnt Umber, and then dry brushed the base using Delta Serene Coat Spice Brown. I then came in and shaded using Garage US Transparent Rich Brown. That way I had the basis of my browns and I could just at this point come back in with more shading and dry brushing and give it that kind of wooden look. So I added even more shading to the base using Garage US Transparent Raw Umber. And then I decided to paint the inside of the circles using Freak Flex Arterial Blue. I wanted like it's like a light coming out, like a backlit is what I was going for those circles on the base. So I went with that Arterial Blue to kind of just make things pop a little bit. Now for the outer ring areas of the circles, I painted that using Anita's Metallic Black. That way it's just a stark difference in a black that really will stand out with the browns. Now for the back of the base, I base coated the nameplate using Freak Flex Hammer Horror Red Dry, and the outer area using Apple Barrel Black. I came back in and added more shading to the base using Garage US Transparent Rich Brown, Transparent Dark Brown, and Burnt Umber. And again, that's a process. You shade, you re-dry brush your colors, and you go back and forth until you look at it and go, yep, that's it. The top of that base was simply painted with black. That way I've got the black leading into the browns. The blue circles with the black around them, it just really tied in. It's exactly what I was trying to do. Imagine that. Sometimes things work out right. Now for the front nameplate, I painted that using the top of the lettering, so I decided to start with that. So I painted that using Freakflex Cat's Eye Yellow for the top. And for the bottom part of the lettering, I pulled out some Freakflex Hot as Hell Orange and used that for the lower part. Now the Freakflex Asphyxia Blue was used on the upper background area of it. That way it was like a sky area. And Freakflex Body Baked Black was used on the buildings and the lower area of the background. And again, you're going to go back and forth. You're going to, for me, as I get closer and I want to punch up the highlights, like on the sky, I would just move closer with the airbrush and just kind of back off and get me like a different highlighting going to the starkness of the blue that I was looking for. Now, I wanted a little bit different standout on that nameplate around the inner circles, so I pulled out some Freakflex Pink Eye Burgundy and I painted the inner ring area with the Pink Eye Burgundy. And the front nameplate was done. So now, time to revisit the rear nameplate. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? So I highlighted the background area using the Freakflex Arterial Blue and added more highlights using the Freakflex Asphyxia Blue. Now for the lettering, I simply mimicked the front plate. Cat's Eye Yellow was used for the top areas, and Freakflex Hot as Hell Orange was used for the bottom areas. And then I deepened the sign area all around it using the Coal Black from Pro Acryl from Monument Hobbies. This was the first time I used those colors. I used it on this kit and I used it on the Tall Man. And I gotta say, I'm a fan. They blow nicely through the airbrush and the colors are just awesome. That Coal Black may become my choice for the black. It was always Freakflex Body Baked Black, but I think this Coal Black is going to run a close second. Now for the outer edge of the nameplate, that was painted using Anita's Metallic Black. Again, that way I've got a different black hue in there, which will also blend with the base and the browns and just really kind of stand out a little bit, but not too much. And then, of course, at that point, I highlighted the nameplate using Freakflex Nair Black. That way I've got my blacks, I've got my gray. There's a difference, and it just kind of, in the end, ties everything together. So, onto the shadow. The face was base coated using Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl Tan Flesh and Pro Acryl Black was used for the body. Again, I'm a fan of this Pro Acryl paints. We're going to be doing a review of those paints on one of the upcoming episodes. I used the Body Baked Black for the hat, and Anita's Metallic Black was used for the ribbon area of the hat. Again, different hues of black, just kind of separate them just a bit. The scarf was base coated using Accent Pure Red, and then shaded using Freakflex Red Tint, and then highlighted using Freakflex Sunburn Red. At this point, I added more shading and highlights to the face using Pro Acryl Tan, and then more highlights to like the nose and cheeks and forehead area using Warm Flesh. And then, of course, shading of the face was done using the Garage US Transparent Mars Red. Again, below the eyes, on the nose, top of the forehead, cheeks. And then, of course, the process of coming back in with your Warm Flesh, your tan, and then just trying to work that flesh areas back in. Freakflex Body Baked Black was used for the hair and the eyebrows. Now onto the eyes of the shadow. They were base coated using Freakflex Banshee Shadow Gray, and Reaper's Rose Maroon was used for the lower eyelid area. Body Baked Black was used for the eye, and for the eye color I pulled out some Freakflex Asphyxia Blue, and then of course painted in the pupils using the Body Baked Black. And again, then accented the hat and body some more using the Pro Acryl Transparent Blue. I wanted to give it kind of like a tint of blue but black, kind of like a cartoonish thing you would see in a cartoon. And that Pro Acryl Transparent Blue fit nicely. Sprayed nice, nice hue, And I'm excited because I bought several of the transparent line from them, and I look forward to using those more. Added more shading with the red tint to the scarf, and came back in with the coal black to the hat. And at this point, I dry brushed the hair using the Nair Black. At this point, I had realized that I hadn't painted all of the scarf area in. The scarf comes along the front. Originally, I thought that was part of the jacket. And of course, in conversation with Rick Lindy, who was painting up one of the shadows for our Wonderfest table, he had spoken with Lace Lee, who sculpted it, and he said that's a continuation of the scarf. So take heed to my mistake and make sure you do that all the way around. So I basically just finished off that scarf and just made sure all the areas were going. So all the steps were repeated for the scarf, and I added more shading to the scarf using the Freak Flex red tint. Again, a process back and forth. Now for the arms. I base coated the arms using ivory black. Again, introducing a new hue of black. And then Garage US Pun 13, which is short for Punisher, which is a black and bluish color. That was used for the gloves. And Anita metallic black was used on the guns. The sleeves were base coated using Freak Flex Turn Ghost White and shaded using Garage US Transparent Payne's Gray. For the buttons on the sleeves, those were painted using the Body Bake Black, and the buttons on the jacket were done using Nair Black. Again, different hues. The Nair Black is like that grayish look. It just kind of ties it all together. And the flesh area was done using the Pro Acryl Tan Flesh. Now the gloves and guns were shaded using Pro Acryl Transparent Blue, again kind of mimicking what I did on the jacket, and then highlighted the guns using Freak Flex Nair Black. And believe it or not, the kit was done. Again, beautiful kit, a joy to paint. Obviously, a joy. I've noticed, and I'm sure you as painters have found this too, there are kits that inspire you, and there's kits that you are painting just to paint them and get them done because you bought the kit. Well, this was one that I thoroughly enjoyed painting, and again, it was just something I always wanted to do, and nobody else has really done a shadow kit. There was some earlier on by Dice Man Hobbies, and there was, I believe, another one done by another company out of England, and I just thought, you know what, it's time for Shadow Kreations to do a shadow kit. So here it is. So that wraps up this painting tutorial today on the shadow. But now is your chance to subscribe to this channel and help me get to 1,000 subscribers. You just hit that button, become part of the Talking Models family, and you come alongside me on my journey of this channel and the things to come in the future. So again, if you want one of these, you can reach out to me at shadowkreations@gmail.com and say, hey, I want one of those shadow kits. And I'll say, no problem. Again, this kit will be on display and available at Wonderfest, and you will see Rick Lindy's paint up of that on our table. Thank you, Rick. And you can just get a chance to pick one of these nice and beautiful kits up. So again, that wraps up today's episode, and I look forward to some things coming down the road as we visit 3D printing, as we do a review of the Pro Acryl paints from Monument Hobbies. We're going to look at spray booths. We're going to look at the bench area. We're going to look at some brushes. New things that I'm using now, maybe not new to you, but new to me. And that's kind of things coming down the road. So thanks for stopping in today to Talking Models. And as always, may the Lord bless your day.